Chapter 20. Arun Wonk and I have been best friends since as long as I can remember. He also happens to have the most awesome trampoline in all of Quietville. The two things are still not related. I still swear. The day after I got my letter from Elroy Evans, my mom had already proudly taped it up on the refrigerator, which was the highest honor in the land. I was back at Irwin's telling him all about the trip we had coming up to New York. As usual, I was the only one jumping. And after we meet Elroy, we can go out to eat at some fun place like an Applebee's or TGIF or something, I said. Irwin rolled his eyes. They have really delicious restaurants in New York, he said, like from every country in the world. We could eat Tanzanian food or Icelandic if we wanted. What kind of food is that? I had no idea. I kept jumping. Maybe tomorrow after school we could all meet up and figure out what else we should do in New York. It's going to be the most fun day ever. That would be awesome, Irwin said, but I can't tomorrow. I'm busy. Doing what? Just, stuff. Oh, okay, I said. I know what you're thinking. A normal person might have followed up with something like, what kind of stuff? But I wasn't a normal person right at that moment. I was a person who was way too busy thinking about how I was Elroy Evans' new best friend. I was kind of like a person planning his own birthday party. Nothing else mattered. So you can imagine my surprise when I was leaving school the next day, heading toward the bus, and I saw a crowd of kids gathered over by the softball field. I craned my neck, and I was able to see some pom-poms flying around. So I knew it had to be cheerleading practice. But what could be so fascinating about cheerleading practice? I didn't need to see Daisy doing more flips and twirls, that's for sure. So I kept walking. Then I heard a kid named Jack Winston yell, "No way! That is just so wrong," which made everybody else laugh. Okay, now I was curious. I jogged over to the field. I could hear the cheer they were practicing. Put it in the basket, put it in the hole. To shoot, to score, to win is our goal. I mean, it wasn't exactly genius poetry or anything, but there wasn't anything that sounded so wrong about that. And I didn't see anything else worth laughing about either, unless you counted the fact that Betsy Kincaid's glasses fell off every time she did a high kick. Then I looked down the row of cheerleaders and saw something that made me rub my eyes. I looked again. Irwin. As in Irwin Wonk. That's right, my Irwin, neighbor, best friend, crime biter, and now cheerleader. Yep, there he was, right in the middle of the row, cheering his heart out. He was wearing an official cheerleading sweater and a pair of shorts. He was holding pom-poms, and his glasses didn't fall off once. He spotted me, and an embarrassed look quickly crossed his face, because he must have seen the shocked look on mine. He gave me a wave, then went back to work. Daisy spotted me too, and she grinned and yelled, "I know, right? Isn't it great?" But before I had a chance to answer, Jack Winston hollered, "Yeah, it's great if you want to be a girl." That inspired more laughter and a few other comments from the crowd. "Hey, Irwin, where's your dress? Can you do a split? Who's the cute new cheerleader?" I could feel my skin start to get hot as I watched Irwin try to ignore all the mean jokes. He just kept right on cheering. I knew I had to do something to defend my friend. "Hey everyone, do me a favor and shut your mouths." I wish it had been me who said it, but it wasn't. I wasn't quite fast enough, I guess, or brave enough, but Chad Knight was. Chad stared at the crowd until everyone was quiet. Then he said, "I remember people made fun of me when I quit lacrosse to take up ballroom dancing. They didn't realize how hard it was and how athletic. I bet it's the same with cheerleading." He gave Irwin a thumbs up. "I think it's awesome that you joined the cheerleading squad. Keep up the good work. As for the rest of you," he said, looking around at the crowd, "grow up." "I think it's great too," I jumped in. "Way to go, Irwin." But as we all know, nobody really pays attention to the guy who finishes or speaks second. Chad came over and smacked me on the back. Athlete to athlete, it kind of hurt, but I was going to keep that to myself. "Very cool that Irwin is doing this cheerleading thing," Chad said. "When did he decide to join the squad?" "A few days ago," I said. In other words, I lied. Irwin hadn't told me a thing, of course, and I knew it was probably because he thought I'd laugh at him, just like the other kids. Since the fun was over, most kids started to drift away, but Chad and I stayed and watched for a few minutes as the cheerleaders flipped and flew their way through a bunch of routines. It turned out Daisy was a really good athlete, and I was impressed watching her. Irwin, however, wasn't so great, but I could tell that he was having an absolute blast, and I'm pretty sure that's all that matters. You're the best. You can pass this test. You're the man. You can do it. Yes, you can." The cheer ended and Chad and I burst out in applause. Sweet, we hollered. That was awesome. Daisy, Irwin, Mara, and the rest of the cheerleaders were grinning from ear to ear. Daisy might have taken an extra glance at Chad, but I didn't even care. They were my friends, and they were having fun. Elroy Evans had invited me to be his guest in New York City, and everything seemed to be back on track at last. Until the door of the school opened, and everything changed.